WWE Survivor Series.
2020.
I'm Spencer,
I'm JD.
and this is the
The
heel
heel
turn.
turn.
This is a big show. This is the last huge pay per view of the year. Survivor Series, if you're still counting it as a big four, and Survivor Series is that four. Huge night, not only because we have the Survivor Series stuff, but we also have the Undertaker officially retiring and getting a little send off at the end. So, which means a lot to us because we're specifically watching him in his prime. So it's been fun.
Remember when he did old school?
He was doing old school back when it was old school.
Oh yeah. Old
But
school.
before we get into that, let's hit up the show. Obviously, we have a couple Survivor Series, how they do it nowadays. So it's 5-on-5 inter-brand matches. And if you have any backstory, please enlighten me on any of these.
Man, I'll tell you, Raw is a better backstory than SmackDown because, like I said, AJ Styles is so good at being a heel, but
Yeah.
also being funny.
Yeah.
I mean, you sort of saw it in the encounter a little bit, but like AJ, no one wants AJ to be the captain. He's like, I'm the captain, like motherfucker, and it's so great to see him. Do you want me to do all the backstory?
Yeah, if you could just encapsulate a little bit what's going on here.
Okay, so that's the Team Raw, Team SmackDown men's, right?
Yeah.
It's AJ's. I got to be honest, AJ's the highlight. Like, it's fucking is what it is. When we go to um, New Day and Street Profits, initially both proud.
Oh no, we'll
About
do that when we get to the.
As we go.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Good to go.
Misunderstood.
But yes, this is a lot of fun. Jey Uso lost to Daniel Bryan the week, the SmackDown before this, so he's sort of got something to prove. Roman Reigns is like, don't disappoint me, so he's sort of leading the SmackDown side. Seth Rollins had lost to Buddy Murphy, or just Murphy, and Murphy sided with the Mysterios. He's with Mysterio's Rey Mysterio's too young daughter, but it's okay. She's legal. And he's not. If you look at any of the videos, he's not like disrespectful about like, let me grab that ass. You know, like he's super just like chill. He just pops her around his arm, and we call it a day. Cool. I mean, they did kiss, but whatever. Anyway, outside of that, Raw is more comedy. SmackDown has more, I guess. Well, not entirely drama. Like not Keith.
Otis?
Kevin Owens.
Kevin
doesn't really like Jay. You see that in the encounter too. King Corbin's just there. Otis is just there. Like,
if I'm being honest, a lot of these people in both Survivor Series matches seemed like they were just there.
I think more SmackDown. You got to watch Raw. Raw was more fun.
Okay.
They were more interesting. Like when Matt Riddle comes out, he's like, "Yeah, pump it." With everyone else, you're like, "Oh God, you're such a fucking nerd, dude. Like, get out of here." Braun Strowman was like, I want to be the leader." Whatever. Like he actually has an archetype. AJ is trying to be the captain. Sheamus is like, whatever. Sheamus and Braun butted heads for a little bit. Keith Lee is just sort of there, like he's cool with Matt Riddle because they're both prior NXT, so it works out. But here's what it is.
Well, let's talk about the match. Team Raw, as you kind of mentioned, is AJ Styles, Riddle. Now, Keith Lee. Sounds like they're whittling away at everybody's names. That was Riddle. Keith Lee, Braun Strowman, and Sheamus versus Team SmackDown, which is Jey Uso, Kevin Owens, Otis, Seth Rollins, and King Corbin. This promises to be a great match, but a lot of broken promises. Jey Uso and AJ start.
Gold dust. Or broken dreams.
Clearly, Jey has a lot to prove here to his cousin. Right, they're cousins with Roman Reigns. Cousin Roman Reigns.
He's the tribal chief. Goddammit.
He's the chief. Got to stand up for the clan. They have a little wrestling match. Eventually, Seth gets tagged in and tells his team, "For the greater good." Then he gets on his knees, and Sheamus Brogue kicks him for 3. Pretty baffling. That.
Do you know why that happened? Partly why that happened.
Go ahead.
Becky Lynch is gonna give birth soon.
Okay. All right. Oh, so
It's kind of stupid.
That's like backstage reasons.
Right. They should have honestly fucked him up, but they didn't. I thought they were gonna do that.
Okay.
You know
That plays with that thing I talk about with when we watch wrestling. It's like you wouldn't actually let yourself get kicked in the face ever. Like ever. He could have just like offered himself to be pinned. I don't know. That seemed weird.
I don't know if they were trying to be like the Buddy Murphy story. To be like he's so upset that he lost to his disciple that he's like, fuck it, I don't care anymore. He might come back as a baby face because he has a baby and reinvent himself. You know what I mean? That's likely to happen.
Okay. Hopefully.
But it's not the best delivery of the role.
Yeah, this was weird. But he's gone. So now it's 4v5. SmackDown at a disadvantage. They're all talking on the outside, and then Strowman just runs all of them over. Goes back to the Raw corner and it starts yelling like, "Let's get going. Let's do this." Quit arguing because Raw's doing a lot of bickering. Next we get Otis versus Keith Lee, which is actually pretty interesting. They're a couple big guys, but they're in the new generation. See, when we're watching, big guys are like kind of slow, but these big guys like to move and do moves and stuff. So it's actually pretty entertaining watching them grapple and try to hit big moves on each other. So that was pretty cool. Kevin Owens eventually gets tagged in. He's a House of Fire. My notes say he starts stunning people, and he starts stunning everybody. He must be getting eliminated. 2 seconds later.
I was like, he's put his moves out there. I thought the same thing.
2 seconds later, Brogue kick, 3 count. All right, Kevin Owens is gone. Now it's 3v5. SmackDown, it's looking a little rough for you guys. Corbin hits the end of days on Styles, but it gets broken up. Riddle hits Corbin with his flippy shit move. I don't know what that's called, but it's pretty cool looking. Kind of almost looks like a kind of like a Starship Pain without as many flips, which seems mathematically impossible.
What?
What's that?
What'd you say?
Riddle hits Corbin with that. It's like a senton, but he's spinning. I don't know what the move's called.
Well, it's legitimately called a moonsault.
No. It's not spinning, like not flipping. It's like it looks kind of like Starship Pain, except he doesn't do a springboard. So I don't know what you would call it, but it's pretty neat. But that's 3 count. So Corbin's gone. So now we're left with Jey Uso and Otis, which is like maybe the weirdest team ever concocted.
Otis, you got my back, right? Down 6. Yeah.
Jay tags in Otis, who hits some awesome belly to bellies. I really like the way Otis does the belly to belly because it goes vertically before it goes backwards. Really looks nice. Otis actually was able to beat on Braun Strowman for a while. But of course, if I'm saying he beat on him for a while, eventually he does get power slammed. Yeah. Power slam for 3. He does hit his caterpillar, though, which I'm sure Scotty Too Hotty taught him how to do.
Yeah. Use more of the wave in your body.
Jey Uso takes out the Raw team with a dive to the outside. Pretty cool stuff. Jay lasts for a little bit, but Lee tags himself in, unbeknownst to Jey Uso, and Jay tries some top rope shenanigans, but gets caught. And Lee hits him with the Spirit Bomb for 3. That means that SmackDown gets completely wiped. They don't get anybody.
How cool was that finish, though?
That was sick. That Spirit Bomb is legit.
Fucking picked him up. He's like, hey. I was like, yo, let's go. That shit was hype, man. Yeah. I was in it. I want to see more of that. We're not going to because there's not enough tiny guys that fit that, except for like AJ and
The whole
keeping
roster's
it
tiny guys. Come on.
out of that group. Because I guess there's talent in that group. It's not Braun. No offense.
Dude, Braun looked freaking amazing.
Braun showed up to play, and just for the record, we're talking about how he looked aesthetically.
Yeah.
He didn't do shit like
No.
from a performance standpoint.
No, not at all.
Well, check out my power slam, whatever. But he probably felt a whole lot better endurance wise, and that's probably what he's gearing himself up for. Which,
Yeah.
Good for him.
Dude, he looked freaking cut. I wish not not in a gay way. I wish he took off his shirt. Well, no, he did, and he looked really, really good. Yeah.
Bro,
I just remember mocking him at first.
When Sheamus took off Jey Uso's shirt, I was like, dude, that's the ultimate insult. I could just imagine Roman's like, behind the scene, I don't like that. but at the same time, like, yeah, he did look good. If you check his Twitter, he's always like, oh man, I wish I had carbs every time. So
yeah.
He's working towards a goal, and it's paying off. Good for him.
He's on that Steve Blackman diet.
Right, of just sticks.
yeah. That's his food and his cardio at the same time.
Yeah. Just gonna do sticks and I lift. Sticks.
Yeah. What did you think? I gave that match a 5. I didn't hate it, but I certainly didn't particularly like it.
I'd say a 5 too. It's average at best. Even the buildup of it, I wish I could give it more credit, but like the AJ should have really shined.
Yeah.
In that sort of like era, he didn't, which is not his fault. They probably had a direction, whatever. But man, AJ's funny.
It's kind of weird because knowing that I don't like regularly watch the show, like my score kind of goes up or down depending on the knowledge of what they do with that. And I don't really know, but if they do something with the SmackDown thing, which it sounds like they're going to, great. Like, turn that into a story and run with it. If they don't, because I remember there was a Survivor Series where they did something really similar, and they did almost nothing with it. And then it was like, oh, they just lost lost real bad.
Last Survivor Series was really good. They had NXT in the mix.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Sick. We should watch that sometime. But yeah, this one was just more of what you expect. Brand split. Compare the differences, whatever.
Yep.
But we're going to lead on to, in my opinion, the match of the night, which I was super hyped for. We got the New Day versus the Street Profits. This is a build-up between the two because we have SmackDown Tag Team versus Raw Tag Team. Both of the parties very talented. I would argue Street Profits have more, we've talked about this, you and I personally, have more impact in their special moves and whatnot. But at the same time, or their signatures, I should say. But man, this is a good match. If you watch any match from this, like you could watch the Asuka and Banks match. I watched half of it, I want to say. And I was enjoying it. I was into it. I just couldn't write notes because I went to the store and came back. But man, this match was so much fun to me. So we started off, we got Xavier Woods and Angelo Dawkins starting off. And then immediately we got Kofi Kingston in, right? They're doing a lot of respect, like even dancing to their signature, their music when they're coming in, or whatever. This is more or less how they acted when they were building up to it. Even Big E was involved. Also to point out, they had New Day show off their Gears of War inclusion, which I'm hyped for because I think that's cool. I don't play Gears anymore, but if I were playing Gears, I'd be like, yo, I'm gonna play Big E. Let's be honest, I'm gonna play Big E. I'm not gonna play anyone else with Big E. That's my boy. But it's still cool to see that.
I think that would be pretty lame to see some New Day shit in Gears of War.
Well, so they censored that fucking trailer, by the way.
Oh yeah. When they're chainsawing people,
do any of that lighthearted stuff. They're like, oh, dude, the funniest thing. I'll send this. the funniest thing is Big E does a pile driver, right? And he
Yeah.
goes freshly squeezed, and Orange Cassidy goes what immediately after in the or in Twitter, and then Big E's like, man, I got hacked. Underneath him is Mustafa Ali, and he just puts a smiley face.
Oh my god.
I love that shit, dude. They're fucking. I love that with that blend and shit like that. But but yeah, man, that shit was hype. That shit was funny. They came out in Gears of War outfits. If you guys aren't already aware. Anyway, we get a little bit of offense, in this case, before we get fuck. Street Profits get knocked out of the ring, get a little bit of brawling. Montez Ford gets worked over by the New Day for a minute. Like he's getting fucking destroyed. They're working his gut. Montez Ford, one of the coolest signatures of this day, is he actually does like a cool transition. Like he does like a reverse, which we saw with Two Scorpio on right before our pay per view.
Yeah.
He does this like reverse fucking belly flop on the people or frog splash on the people. But anyway, in his gut with a lot of moves that are hitting that to where it's gonna hurt him and shit like that, which is smart, right? Playing the mind games. We get a hot tag to Angelo Dawkins, works New Day for a bit. You know, it's typical hot tag shit. You know, a New Day gets an advantage. Montez Ford retaliates with a drop kick, and then he gets a frog splash off. I saw him do this the last time on SmackDown, where he hits the drop kick and then he handsprings out of it. It's sort of like, again, what we saw with The Rock when he hits the people's elbow before he's like became a face. This is when he's still a heel, the Nation of Domination. He hits it and then he handsprings back up. It's the same sort of concept. Like he handsprings himself. Might not always get himself up, but he handsprings it to show just the force of it, right? And then his ribs are fucking killing him, his gut, whatever you want to call it. Xavier Woods hits a gut buster, which I never took Xavier Woods as a strong man, but he does have. I mean, it's Montez Ford, first of all.
Yeah.
He's got skin and bones. He is fucking. He's toned. He's defined, you know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, let's be honest, he's not too heavy to lift. Hits him with a gut buster. We're talking shoulder press straight into gut buster.
Yes.
And then we get a beautiful ass blockbuster on Xavier Woods for the finish. And then Angelo Dawkins gets the pin on it. And it was super cool. I want to point out, I checked Twitter after this. FTR complimented the match, saying they really enjoyed it. Watching those guys go at it too, which make of that what you will, but at the same time, these guys are also lifelong fucking tag team partners. So it's kind of cool to see people putting respect on that match. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. What was your take?
Well, I also want to say Buff Bagwell saw that match. He said, "Hey, quit stealing my moves." It's a Norm Macdonald thing.
Motherfuckers.
No, this is a great match. To me, the only thing it was missing was a sense of drama. You know me, I don't like friendship matches. I don't.
Yeah, they shook hands after.
When I see that shit, I'm like, come on. These guys have everything that they need, but they need a story. And I know that it's a Survivor Series, so they're just supposed to fight each other because they're champions.
It's a dream match. It's a dream match. Yeah.
If you give them a story, I bet you this would be a 9 or a 10. I gave it an 8, but it was awesome. I just wish there was like a impending drama at some point.
Yeah. No, I give it a 9. I had a great time watching it. I text you this. I'm never let down by the Street Profits. I enjoy watching them. And fucking Montez Ford hit the cross eyes in the middle of it. He's just like, I was like, way to sell, man. No one sells like that. No one gets cross-eyed when they're selling. Good job.
And there's a lot of really good double team moves in here, which is always fun to see.
I want to point that out. They didn't just do the blockbuster. There was a lot of different double team moves.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Honestly, if you're really trying to make yourself like a tag team or make yourself over as a tag team, that shit is gonna do it.
Yeah,
So, like, when you watch these matches, and it's just, I mean, it's the shit we're watching
Yeah,
week
yeah,
per
yeah.
week. God, you should have more tandem movements working with your tag team partner. You guys are there together. You guys should practice this shit. In theory, right?
Hmm.
So it's cool to see.
I mean, you got to think that a double team move would be easier to be safe than a non double team move, because it's like two
Yeah,
people lifting a body. Like you could do two.
exactly.
If you can do one, you can definitely do two. So.
Yeah.
All right, next up we get Sami Zayn. I wrote Sami Zay versus Bobby Lashley.
Say, hey.
This is Intercontinental title versus U.S. title.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sami Zayn is scared. Doesn't want to face Bobby Lashley. I don't blame him. I think he loses like... They said he loses about 40 pounds. I argue it's a lot more. But apparently there's a 40-pound difference.
You know what's funny is Sami Zayn had the best promos leading up to this, though.
But yeah, they talk about how he would not shut up.
Dude, he was really good at his promos. I'm not gonna lie. I was watching. I was like, "Damn, dude." He calls out the United States in general. I'm like, but you work here. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, Sami Zayn is this is a very clever match because Sami rarely in the match intends on winning. He mostly tries to get Bobby disqualified at every possible opportunity. So it's like it's like a weird inverse match where he's almost just running away and begging people to hit him. It's pretty funny. Whenever Bobby's in the ring with him, he absolutely just destroys Sami Zayn. It's pretty ridiculous. And yeah, he'll just keep running back outside and talking to the Hurt Business, begging them to hit him. He's just like, "Come on, you idiot! Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?" Getting in their face, and they're trying.
They were all out there.
Yeah,
all
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
But they wouldn't hit him, and then he eventually is walking up the ramp, and he makes himself trip over MVP's foot. Like it's pretty clear that he just did it himself, and then he's trying to get the ref to disqualify him for that, and then Bobby Lashley wins by I think he calls it the Hurt Locker, but it's the full Nelson.
It's a full Nelson, yeah. The Hurt Lock.
The Hurt Lock. I guess I was wondering if they're not calling it the Hurt Locker because that has like war implications, right? So they probably don't want to use that.
They used to call it the Lashley Lock, and then he joined the Hurt Business, and then they called it, which makes more sense.
Yeah. No, the Hurt Lock is a kind of a clever name. I like that.
Yeah, it's better than the Lashley Lock. See, it's my name, and I locked you up. You know, it's like
which used to be called the Master Lock.
Was it really?
Yeah, that was Chris Masters' finish.
Oh, I just call it a fucking full Nelson.
Which ironically, I believe Bobby Lashley's the first guy to break it. So that's weird that he then took it over. He's like, only I can use it now.
Like, I'm gonna steal that for later.
Yeah, it's like some Highlander move. It's really weird.
What do you give the match?
I give it 6. I like it for its creativity, but it wasn't much of like a physical amazing match. But it was fun.
Okay.
All right, next we get Asuka versus Sasha Banks.
When have we seen this?
This was really good. They started out and maintained for probably the entire match a very technical style here. Especially at the beginning, it was just almost exclusively submission moves. But it wasn't boring, which is weird.
Would you say Sasha is more technical than Bayley?
You know,
I'm starting to lean that way.
I haven't seen enough, so I would hate to say that and be totally wrong. But from the few matches I've seen, yes, I would say Sasha's more technical. And that's not a disservice to either of them. It's just the style. This match almost harkened back to me to like a Chris Benoit Kurt Angle feud. Like just focused on the submissions and trying to competitively tap each other out. Like it is really, really impressive the way that they were doing it. To do submissions but not make it boring is a skill that I don't know how they do it over other people.
I can see that.
Asuka's able to knock Sasha out of the ring with a hip attack, and I like that she smacks her butt when she does it. That's funny.
She's
They do some more submissions. They fight outside. Uh, Sasha goes for she gets like her knees down on somebody. She tries to drop on her knees on them, but Asuka's able to counter it with her own knees to her face like a code breaker. And this
Oh,
is on the outside.
outside the ring?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
That's
Yeah.
pretty sick. Sasha's able to hit a backstabber, but only gets 2. She's actually hit 2 backstabbers in this match. Asuka escapes the bank statement is her finisher, right? The submission.
It's one of them, yeah.
So Asuka escapes that, and then they do a nice pinning combo that lasts for a good while, but it ends when Banks gets the 3. So Banks sneaks a win. It makes neither of them look bad. It's kind of like a roll up finish, so everybody can go away saying it's like a fluke ending. I get why they do it. Kind of defeats the purpose of Survivor Series, but it's still it's whatever. From what you saw, what did you think of the match?
I enjoyed it. I always enjoy a match with Asuka. Asuka is my favorite female wrestler right now.
Same.
Although I do enjoy some of the other girls in the next match, and I'll explain. Sasha is obviously great. You can't say Sasha's not good. You're a fucking liar if you say she isn't talented. I'm just being honest. But like the other thing about her too is like Sasha does a good job of she's a really good seller. Like she's really good at selling, like when she gets hit with shit or like sort of building the story. Going back to what you're talking about when Sasha initially, before Asuka knocked her out, Sasha initially knocked Asuka out of the ring and was like, "Where you at? Where you at, girl?" And then she rolled back in. They did the like punch thing, and then Asuka knocked Sasha out, and then she's like, "Kono champion." And she did the same thing that Sasha did, and Sasha's just like this. I love that shit. It's just funny to me.
Yeah.
So I like the storytelling element of it, and I think she's very good at that. I can't say I'm never going to not tune into a Sasha match. Like, I'm never not going to tune into a Bayley match. I'm never not going to tune into an Asuka match. I'm never not going to tune into a Sasha match. So they have that guaranteed thing with me. The same thing with the Street Profits. I'm always going to watch that match because it's like they're always trying to do something, and I respect it. So I think it was good.
I wrote a comment technically it's for the Survivor Series match for the women, but I think it's pertinent to what you're saying right there. And since you're covering that one, I just want to let that fly. I wrote, here's the thing about female wrestlers. They're either the best in the company or the worst. And yeah, I think Asuka, Sasha Banks, who's Bayley? Yeah. Bayley. These girls are just phenomenal. Like I think they're better wrestlers than most of the male wrestlers in the company. Looking at that first Survivor Series match, I think they're better than all of them. I don't know if there's any of those guys are better than.
I wouldn't say they're better than all of them. I think they just performed way better. Like I think AJ's an amazing.
Oh, maybe not AJ. Yeah.
Right. It just sounds amazing wrestler. I think Riddle is an amazing wrestler. Keith Lee, they need to do more with him because I like him, but me and you've had the discussion where it's just like he's lackluster, not because of his own contributions, but because of what they do for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sheamus, I don't care about Sheamus. Ron is awful. Like Seth Rollins killed himself. My notes are commits match suicide. Jay's fun. Jay's gotten better. I respect him for that. Right? Jay's off limits. Kevin Owens, I like Kevin, but
I go back and forth on that guy.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Corbin is safe and like your basic wrestler.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like
the reason I like Asuka, specifically Asuka, maybe more so than anybody, maybe her and Charlotte Flair I put on the same level of just when they get in a match, it looks like they're trying to kick the shit out of the person they're in the ring with.
Yeah.
And like I don't get that from anybody else. like almost bar
I
none from the company.
I thought that with Ronda. I thought Ronda was very good at doing that,
Yeah, she was very
but
believable. It's
it's
like,
1 year.
and that's really what I want from it is I want you to take me out and be like, oh, okay, there's a fight going on, and
Legitimate anger.
I don't get that from just about anybody that I see. I see a lot of acrobatics, but with these girls, man, they look like they're fighting for their lives out there, and that's
Yeah,
cool. I
I can
respect that.
respect it.
Hmm.
So great match. Did you give your score?
I gave it an 8.
8. That's solid. I respect it. I kind of feel like I caught most of it actually, so I'd probably give it like a 7 or an 8, just because I haven't seen the whole thing. I've
Hmm.
seen most of it. I want to say. So good job, guys, girls. Um,
Yeah.
so we move on to Women's Survivor Series. We've got Team Raw, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Lana, Lacey Evans, Peyton Royce versus Team SmackDown. Bailey, Natalia, Bianca Belair, Ruby Riott, Liz Morgan. I put Natalia twice.
It's Liv Morgan, isn't
Liv, yes. Why did I put Liz?
it?
And I really respect Liv Morgan. I actually like her. Damn, shame on her. So um uh, we've got Lacey Evans, Natalia starting
Okay.
after
What is there a story to this one? I know there's a little bit, but do you know the stories of these?
Team Raw. Nia Jax has put Lana through the table 9 times, which you've seen.
Yeah.
Build up for it. Team SmackDown is very organic. They're friendly, like legit. Like, so there was a lot of people talking about how Bailey might be turning face because of the way that she interacted with Team SmackDown.
Yeah.
She's hugging people. She's really friendly. She's kind of showing that off. And I want to point out, because I text you this, I want to point out I like Bailey in general because the way she talks shit to people.
Hmm.
Like, because when she came in the ring, the first people that actually started was Bailey and Lacey Evans. Bailey just got out like really quick, but Bailey came in, and then Lacey's like, "Where's that title?" And she's like, "You never had one to begin with." And I'm like, "You probably shouldn't talk shit, Lacey. You should shut your mouth. You don't even know what it's like to have something around your waist, so just shut your fucking mouth." And that shit was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Bailey was in like from the get go. She was just like, "Who are you?" Love it, man. Love that shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Bailey hops out. Natalia's in against Lacey Evans. One of the coolest things I like to see though was Liv Morgan muscles out Lana's pin because Lana got tagged in, and she drops this pin where there's sort of like it's back. It's back. Lana's back on Liv Morgan's chest, and her back's on the ring. It's I forget they said it a couple times. The pin, which like front flips over her legs to pin her,
Okay.
and they both, and then she muscled out of it. I've never seen that from Liv. I don't think she's ever done it. I've never seen it. I was impressed. I was like, yo, that's some strength right there to bring that shit up. It's like I put down here backwards bridge.
Hmm.
Even though it's not. It's like a normal bridge. Anyway, Lana's sort of. I don't want to be offensive when I say this. She's like plain. You know what I mean? She's not doing a lot. Even
What is up with those shoes?
what's up with that kick? She did a kick. She did a kick. I think it was to Liv Morgan. She did a kick, and then she did the splits, right? Instead of it being one just action, she did the kick, paused, and then she did the splits after. And I was like, that's fucking lame, to me, right? So I was like, boring. And then immediately after, she tries to tag people in, and shame on the women of Raw. No one wants to tag her in. I can understand Nia and Shayna, but like Peyton Royce has nothing against Lana. Neither does Lacey. Lacey's just a bitch, but Peyton Royce has nothing against her. Peyton Royce should have tagged her in.
Oh, Lacey had the freaking line of the night for me.
What was that?
When Lana tags herself in, Lacey goes, What is your problem?
What the fuck? So anyway, Peyton Royce does tag herself in, or tag in, which is she should have done it earlier. Peyton Royce is not an asshole, so you know what I mean. I mean, she
She
is
is
if
now.
you're talking about the Iconics, but she's not right now.
Yeah.
Peyton Royce actually looked good in this match, which is the craziest thing to me. No, I like Peyton Royce, I really do. So anyway, Bailey and Peyton Royce are squaring off. There's a brawl on the outside of the ring. Bailey gets superplexed by Peyton Royce, and she misses everyone. It feels like no one caught her. And then they all land, and you can hear audibly Bailey going, "Everyone okay?" And there might have been a couple other people, but Bailey, you could hear, "Everyone okay?" All right, all right. And then they get back up. Bailey hits the deja vu, which was the finisher I was telling you about, which I like because I just like how it looks, like it's that sort of spin or whatever. Which, by the way, want to point out, going back to the Angelo Dawkins portion against, I think it was Xavier. He hit him with like a underhooked, double underhook,
Yes.
something.
Dude, I'm glad you brought that up. I was just thinking about that.
Crazy spin, and I was like, "Yo!"
It was like a double underhook crossroads.
Yeah,
It was
legit,
weird.
man.
It was cool.
Because you don't see that shit, and then you're like, okay, all right, fuck it, fuck it. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing with Peyton Royce. I love seeing her do that move. It's so cool. It's better when people sell it. The best person that sold it is still Ruby Riott, but Bailey sold it pretty good. I respect it. Anyway, she drops the move, and then Peyton Royce eliminates Bailey, which is crazy.
Because it's like the lowest team was like the Iconics. They were like.
I would say Lana's the lowest at this point, man. What are they talking about her?
That's true. But she was pretty low.
Point out, she was, but like she had the potential. She was doing a couple singles matches where she was winning. I do want to point out at this point, they told Lana to sit on the stairs and not do anything, or stand on the stairs and not do anything. She's standing there. And by the way, on Twitter, Miro, Lana's husband, is going, "Watch my wife, Lana, WWE." It's like I would not shout her out if you knew how this match ended, which you should because that's your wife. Anyway, Peyton Royce gets eliminated by a sharpshooter by Natalia.
Oh, did you see her fuck up that other move?
What move?
She was trying like a reverse surfboard,
and
she completely failed. And then she just put in a sharpshooter. Do what you know. Do what you know.
Do what you know. Stick to what you know. Fuck off. Yeah. That's your finisher. Do your finisher. Anyway, Lacey Evans beats Natalia with the woman's right, which was, I don't like the woman's right, just because it's just a punch, just like Big Show's punch.
Yeah. Minus about 400 pounds.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, unless there's like a build up to it. Like I don't like the Superman punch either, because it's just like I jump in the air and I punch you. I like the phenomenal forearm because it's using the turnbuckle. So it's like showing that there's strength involved with it. But any of those other moves, I feel like is just lame. Anyway, woman's right. And then Lacey Evans hits a Spanish fly on Bianca Belair. I called it before it happened. I wish we were on Discord because I was like, Spanish fly, Spanish fly, Spanish fly. And then they dropped it. The Spanish fly looks better than a lot of the other people I see do Spanish flies. So I respect both the ladies.
I think that's the stupidest move.
It's weird. It doesn't make sense to me. But if you're going to do it, whatever, I like the form of it, but it doesn't make sense to me. I agree with you. It doesn't make sense.
Get rid of it. Get rid of it.
I'm right. It's like I'm gonna front flip. You're gonna back flip. That's what's gonna happen.
We're gonna do a back flip rock bottom.
Yeah.
Like what?
Like, that should have been the Rock's move, really.
Yeah.
The people's rock bottom.
Yeah.
Anyway,
this would be the most inconvenient finish for the Rock every time he does it.
Bianca Belair is probably the most saved person in this match. She gets saved by the Riot Squad at this time. Ruby loses to Shayna and the Karafuda clutch. and Liv Morgan gets pissed. She curses. She's
Yeah.
like, "What?" She's like, "Okay." Liv gets a crucifixion bomb or crucifix bomb.
Yeah.
I guess the one on Lacey Evans. It's a cool move. I like the move. Um, and then at that
Is a
point,
crucifix bomb
Liv
just
Morgan.
like a schoolboy or something she kind of lifts her off the ground for a little bit? The crucifix bomb. It seemed like
So
it.
pretty much, she hops on them. She grabs one arm, and then her legs grab the other. She twists you over to pin.
Yeah, it seems like almost like a roll up, but
Sort of, yeah.
you leave the ground for a second, so it's a bomb.
Yeah, is what it is, right?
Yeah, it's
Um,
cool looking. I
Liv
liked it.
Morgan's. It was good form
Yeah,
because I've seen people like right. I've seen where it doesn't look as clean. Liv Morgan's mad. She ends up getting pinned by Nia Jax. Whatever. Um, Bianca Belair is on her own. I was upset at this point because I was just like, Bianca Belair is solid. Like you really should have her taking out a lot of people at this point.
hmm
She was doing a good job, but she didn't really take anyone out. She muscles out a Karafuda clutch, Carry Fuda clutch by Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler gets disqualified because she held the hold for too long,
yeah.
even though Bianca Belair was on the ropes. It's kind of like, I guess that's protecting Shayna Baszler, but you guys didn't protect her in Raw at all, so now you're protecting her. What the fuck? Just let Shayna, or let fucking Bianca get over at this point, motherfuckers. Um,
I thought she got over like crazy.
Bianca?
Yeah.
She didn't pin anybody. She didn't get anyone eliminated.
Well, you could say that. Um,
She has endurance.
I
Okay,
like what
cool.
she did with Nia Jax. That was sick.
Yeah. So okay, so going to the Nia Jax portion, uh, still unconscious. Nia Jax grabs Bianca Belair out of the ring, and then she drops her. I believe. Oh no, she was getting ready to drop her onto the announcer table because that's Nia Jax's move, signature apparently. And then she recovers, and she pushes Nia Jax away. She runs to roll in the ring. She ends up getting counted out with Nia Jax. The only person that doesn't get counted out is Lana because she's on the stairs the whole time.
Whoa, though you're missing the whole thing about what she did to Nia Jax. That was sick.
What, pushed her away?
She did a back body drop over the wall, over the barricade.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Yeah, so initially she tries to get in the ring, Nia Jax prevents her, and then she like picks her up, throws her over, and then tries to get in the ring, but it's at the 10 point.
Yeah.
And then we end up with
That's a clever finish.
no.
You didn't like that?
She didn't eliminate anyone. No, because I like Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair, out of everyone, I was the most hopeful for it. I like Peyton Royce a lot, and I was happy that she showed out. Good job for her. Right? If we're talking men's, or not one, men's. If we're talking about Survivor Series, just women's, and for everyone on Raw, Peyton Royce is my go-to. If we're talking about everyone on SmackDown, if it wasn't Liv Morgan, who did do a good job, it's Bianca Belair. Bianca didn't pin anybody or eliminate anybody. So I'm just like, she's so good though. Like she muscled out of a Karafuda clutch. You got to show her strength more than just like I stopped a submission from a girl who's like 150, a buck 50. You know, to me.
Yeah.
They did do that cool spot though. I will say this: they did do that cool spot whereas Natalia and Bianca, where they squatted.
Yeah.
I think it was Peyton Royce, and then they dropped you back.
Yeah.
I was like, respect. I like that. That shit was hot.
Those are some real chick squats, but yeah, it's still cool.
Yeah, they're very shallow. If you want that booty, you got to drop.
Yeah, let's get some
Ass
right
over
angles.
ass, first of all. and the funniest thing is that Bianca Belair knows about that. She came from CrossFit, so she knows what's up.
Yeah.
She got to teach Natalia.
Well, I guess we're differing on this because I really liked that match. I gave it an 8. What score did you give it?
I gave it a 6, and I only gave it a 6 because I wanted more drama from everyone. if I had more drama from all the wrestlers, then I could agree with it getting a higher rating. But it was only certain wrestlers that showed out. Like Nia Jax, they protected like fucking crazy. I don't get why Nia Jax gets all this fucking credit.
Well, she's a tag team champion. You gotta protect the champions. That's what this whole show is about. this
Get the fuck
this
out
whole
of
show
here.
is really ironic.
Ugh.
It's basically wouldn't it be cool if the different brand champions went against each other and there were no decisive finishes? Like that's the whole point of the show. It's really weird.
Let's give it a shot. Can't stand that shit, man. I got problems. I got beef.
Yeah.
Anyway, move on to our main event. You want to hit this?
Yeah. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. We got the WWE Universal Champion versus the WWE Heavyweight Champion. Roman Reigns obviously for SmackDown and Drew McIntyre for Raw. We start with a bit of a strength check. This match is more of like a plotting. It's like the matches they do now for heavyweights that like Brock made popular. They kind of make them a little bit longer and they stretch them out to where they're not like 2 minutes long.
Explain with Brock making pop.
Well, the remember the match that Brock and Goldberg had like forever ago, and everyone went crazy about it. It was like a minute, maybe even less.
They just checked each other a bunch of times.
Yeah, and it's like they realized, well, we could just do a match full of just power moves, and then and everyone loves it, and they do. Like, but they do want longer matches when it's not Brock Lesnar, so. It's kind of that. I feel like they've been doing that for a while now. Is they're gonna just have a lot of power moves, and then they're not like as quick as like a New Day match or something. They're a little more careful. McIntyre hits some shoulder tackles to Reigns' dismay, and then Reigns takes control for a while. Beats on Drew in the corner. Beats on him outside. He's in control. He does a couple holds on him. Like does some what do you call it? Why am I not thinking about what that is? It's such a basic.
Side choke?
What's that?
Side choke?
Maybe I
He's
don't
under his arm.
yeah, just yeah. Just some of those holds for a while, and it, again, he did a pretty good job of making it not boring. We come from watching an era where they do that sometimes, and it's really, really boring.
Yeah,
I thought they did a pretty
like, legitimately wrestling.
Yeah, I thought these guys maybe they had good cardio. I mean, they look good, so probably, and they made it so it was actually enjoyable. But Reigns, Drew does heat up a little bit. Hits a pretty nice suplex. The suplexes are pretty nice with these guys. Pretty impressed.
Are you talking about when he tossed his ass?
Yeah. Belly to belly, right?
Bro, I was laughing. I was like, yo. Dude, I blinked and he was in the air. I
Yeah.
was like, okay.
Reigns hits a Samoan drop. Drew turns it around. This is kind of the turning point with a spine buster at 2. I like Drew's spine buster. That looks very nice. It looks like a Triple H spine buster, to be honest. Drew pounds on Reigns on the outside, but Reigns kicks him on the way back in. Drew does manage to hit a future shock DDT for 2. Drew's going for some kicks, but he's unsuccessful. Reigns goes for a spear, but Drew counters it into a Kimura. Brock Lesnar would be proud. But they fight on the outside, and Reigns does a Samoan drop onto the announcer table. And then he just does another one through it. Clearly, that was supposed to go through the first time. See that one, Botchamania.
Fucker.
Yeah. Reigns then spears Drew through a barricade, or if you want to believe Michael Cole, through a wall. I don't trust you, Michael Cole. Reigns hits another spear in the ring, but he cannot put Drew down. Keeps getting 2 counts. Drew hits a Claymore kick, but Reigns takes out the ref on the way down. So you will not be getting any pins on that one. Jey Uso runs out, even though he was told to get out of here. But he gets knocked off the apron, but gave Reigns enough time to hit a low blow on Drew, and Reigns wins with the guillotine, with Drew trying to power out of it but not being able to.
Well, Jay hits a super kick.
Oh, sorry. Jay hitting a super kick.
After the low blow.
Gotcha.
And it's just like, they're trying to protect him.
Yeah.
Makes sense, I guess.
I thought this was a great match. This is my match of the night. I give it an 8.
I give it a 7. I liked the Kimura counter to the spear because it makes sense from a logical standpoint. I wish they didn't go for pins so much because, it's like this. Here's the thing. It's incongruent. If you're Roman Reigns and you're going... no, not Roman Reigns. Because Roman didn't say that until like half the match, where he was like, "This isn't the same Drew McIntyre I fought," right?
Yeah.
But if Drew knows who Roman is and he knows he's a threat, he's not going to try and pin him after a simple move. He's not going to try and pin him after a DDT. He's going to try and pin him after he knows he hit something that's clean and that hurts. So like a Claymore or something like that, or whatever the case is. You would think they would adopt that mentality for a lot of other wrestlers going in to be like, like Triple H isn't going to try and pin fucking John Cena with like a strike. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't care how bad you want it. You're stupid if you're trying to pin like that. You have to understand what I mean is like the meta of wrestling to be like, what, like the storyline portion of it. To understand, why would I try and pin this guy off of just like a strike? Why would I try and pin him after, or in Roman's case, why would I try and pin him after one spear? If we're fighting, if he's the heavyweight champion, why would I try and pin him after a spear? Do I think I'm better than him, like by that much? Kind of a thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you could call it like, I guess, like being cocky to try and pin immediately after, but it's also stupid because it's like, why would you do that when in actuality you know this person is the biggest threat you faced, and according to the pay-per-view, the stakes are always rising. It's always the biggest person you've ever fought in your life if it's that current pay-per-view. So pinning after just hitting with one move seems stupid to me.
I disagree. I think the point of a wrestling match is to get the pin. So
right, but
even
it's
if
not going to work,
it's if they don't go for pins, it's like, well, what's the point then?
I'm not saying don't. I'm saying go for them after clean hits.
I guess what they're trying to make it still seem like a sport, even if we know that dramatically it's not going to end the match. They're still supposed to be going for covers.
Every sport has fucking meta, dude. I think they should do a better job of paying attention to that. In my opinion. It's just my opinion.
My knock on the match would be that they did too much finisher, like kickouts.
That's what I'm saying. If you have less of those, if you have less pins, you have less finisher kickouts.
Well, no, because to me, I think a finisher should be a finisher. So it should only take one, and that should be the end of the match.
Maybe they're mislabeled. Maybe they're not finishers. They're transitions.
Well, at this point, all finishers are transitions because everyone just kicks out of everyone. But that's
no one kicks out of One Winged Angel. I'm just saying. No one did. I'm just saying.
Well, that's my only criticism for this. Otherwise, I thought they did an awesome job. Yeah, it was great.
I had fun with it. It was good. You expect like a main event usually to just be like fucking slugging out. Maybe that's just us watching all these other pay-per-views. These other main events. But even the one that we did watch was actually really good. So, mainly because of the build, but still, it's that concept of like, I think it's WCW that's got me the most worried. If I'm being honest,
they don't get better.
It's just that, like, all right, we're gonna try and finish this match. We're gonna slug it out, and then after that, it's gonna be like a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
And this one definitely was not that. I think it was good.
So what do you give the pay-per-view?
Go on to our final segment.
You want to talk about that?
Just mention it. We got Shane McMahon, Big Show, JBL, Jeff Hardy, Mick Foley, The Godfather. It was cool to see them jucking and jiving. Godwins. That's why I sent you that text. Ugh.
Yeah, I knew.
Savio Vega. It was cool to see he almost dropped his flag. Um, Rikishi, Kevin Nash. I can't believe I marked out on a fucking NWO thing.
Yeah.
And then I even more marked out for Booker T, my man.
Yeah.
And then HBK again. And then Ric Flair again. Triple H, he didn't hit you with the normal theme, and then Kane felt like he didn't know anybody because he didn't shake anybody's hand. It's just like whatever. But I was super happy to see that. And then Undertaker came out and he's like, "I'm done," and then left.
Yeah. The longest entrance ever, says bye, and then has the longest exit ever.
Yeah, it's kind of fucking boring, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was sort of hyped, but I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. I agree. It was. I mean, I can't imagine it being anything else, but it was still pretty boring.
Yeah, that part was, and it was probably the most anticlimactic. I still think my favorite retirement is Ric Flair's because they did the following show. Because I've watched that. They did the following show after losing to Shawn Michaels, where everyone came out and cheered him on.
Yeah.
Including Undertaker. You know, it's like all that shit, which I like. But what do you probably asked me? What do I give the pay-per-view? I had fun. Let's go down the list here. Men's Survivor match, not that good.
No.
I just feel like they didn't even plan it.
Oh my god, I totally thought that too.
Yeah, so I'd probably give it a 4 out of 10. New Day and Street Profits, that's, what did I say?
9.
9? 9. That shit was fun. It was good to see. I didn't see the what's called match.
Sami Zayn.
The Lashley match. I'll give the Asuka match a 7 because I enjoyed it. I had fun. Survivor match, I feel like they're shitting on Lana, and I hate it because they're treating talent like shit. Even though she's not too talented. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just saying. I'm just pointing it out.
But she was the sole survivor. She won.
I hated that shit, by the way. When she like, I'm the real survivor.
Oh, God.
It's like, no, you stood on the fucking stairs.
Dude, that was really annoying. I mean, I think that she did the right thing. She just seems very annoying to me.
It's a 6. It's a 6 for me. And I hate Nia Jax, but people will be like, oh, it's because she's a good heel. No, I hate Nia Jax because she hurts a lot of people, especially a lot of wrestlers that I like. And furthermore, past that, I think she's too full of herself. And if she didn't have any relation to a Samoan dynasty, she'd be out of
Wait, she's too full of herself. Why do you say that?
Because the way that when everyone came out to the ring, she's like, especially Lana, she's like, what's that girl doing here?
Well,
Furthermore,
that means she's playing a good heel character. If you think that.
Okay, fine, whatever. Let's go off the basis that she legitimately hurts people.
There you go. That's fair.
Well, an asshole, right?
Yeah.
Fucking Kairi Sane's like, I don't want to be an American anymore because your ass. You fucked me up with a buckle bomb, bitch. I don't like Nia Jax at all as a wrestler. I think she should be fired. I genuinely think that. She is not good. And honestly, she's just a big body. She's like, imagine if the Big Show kept hurting people. He'd be fired. He has no lineage. He has nobody else to count on. And they're just like, fuck it. Get that motherfucker out of here. He keeps killing people. You know what I mean?
Well, it's kind of King Mabel or Viscera. That was kind
there
of
you go. Break fucking Undertaker's orbital bone and then expect to get away with it, you motherfucker. Fuck up Asuka. Watch her habits. Or fuck up Sasha or Bailey. And watch it be like, alright, get the fuck out. You fucked up, what's her name? Becky already. Broke her goddamn nose. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to punch you. You can't protect a punch? You fucking bitch. Anyway, I give it like a 7. I'm heated about that. Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre, I'll give an 8 because it was better than I expected. I thought it was just going to be boring and a bunch of just finishers, but it was more to it than that. I like that. Undertaker, I'll give like a 2. It was not a good, it's not a good fucking retirement. It was a really shitty retirement for being honest.
Yeah, I have a rule that personally I don't give things that aren't matches or that I don't think are matches scores. So that whole thing is whatever. It was nice to see. Ironically, it was nice to see all the other people. And then when Undertaker came out, it was really boring. So
I know, right?
that's what it is.
Were you getting hyped about anybody coming out or?
I was calling Midian. I was like, I bet you Midian's coming out, and then he did. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Anyway.
Everyone else is like, okay, it makes sense. I got you.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping Farouk would come out, but
God damn it, right, motherfucker.
oh, that was weird. When obviously Godfather only came out because he was friends with Undertaker, but they were like in 1997 he had some good run-ins with the Undertaker. He had one, and he beat him in a clean way, and Undertaker never put him over again. So I don't know. That seems pretty fucked up to me. I know. I just went through it. So
well, they released a shoot interview talking about how him and Godfather got into an argument or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, they're best friends," and I'm like, "Really? Okay, fucker."
yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. I give the pay-per-view a 7.
7's good. I would teeter on the side of an 8 because I had fun with most of the matches. But I didn't see 1.5 of the matches. So.
I just feel like, and this isn't entirely the show's fault because obviously I don't watch the show much, but looking at the build-up and everything for these matches, I just don't feel like there was heat for a lot of this, which is, again, it's kind of the point of the show. It's like, we got to get these, once a year, we're going to get these guys together and, have a champion versus champion match, and it's okay. Like, they don't really realistically have anything to do with each other. So it's just kind of meh. But I thought the main event, they had great heat. Like, there was something special there.
I think the brand split or the draft should happen earlier in the year.
Mm-hmm.
So that way there's time to build these stories.
Yeah.
Or these contrasts.
Well, you can't really build a story, right? Like,
right.
Because if you build it, then you have to include them on both shows, and then you don't have a brand split. Like, that's the ironic part.
Ironically, yeah, the most heat was with Drew and Roman, and they were
they're just on each other's shows. Yeah, so you can't really do the brand split and do a good idea. Yeah, not really the show's fault. I get why he was doing it, but a show like this, to have good matches, I think you need good heat, and you can't have good heat if you don't have a feud. So, I give it a 7. I enjoyed it. And especially some of these, if you gave them more time in an actual feud, I would love it a lot. New Day and Street Profits and Asuka and Sasha Banks. I bet you they could have some real classics if you gave them a...
Well, they've had feuds for a minute.
Okay.
At this point, it's a HBK versus
Bret Hart.
Fucking Vader. It's vicious. No, it's a HBK versus like Bret Hart style match where it's like, you've built this for a minute. You guys have fought so many times. It's so normal. So I feel like maybe that's my thing is like I feel like the match should have been better because they fought so many times. I want to point out, according to the announcers, I don't know for sure. According to the announcers, this is the first time that Sasha Banks won.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, so Asuka's won every single time, and now they're trying to promote Banks because they're like, maybe they're thinking, hey, we booked her wrong, made her too weak. I can see that. And then now they're trying to promote her being like, all right, I'm tough, I'm strong, whatever. Cool. Good job. But to me, the match should have meant a little bit more. They should have had some callbacks to their NXT days. They should have some callbacks to their first encounter. To me. So. Maybe I'm just an asshole.
That's an AEW way of thinking. That's an indie way of thinking,
booking?
I should say.
Long-term booking?
Sort of. That and like in the match having callbacks to other matches and stuff. It's like a Japanese kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, that's our review of Survivor Series 2020. What did you think of it? Let us know in the comments below.
If you don't, just like, comment, and subscribe.
I'm Spencer.
I'm JD.
And this is The Heel Turn.
Thanks for watching.